Hey y'all! Well, this video is going to be straying away from my normal content, and it's going to be doing some simple electronics repair on something that a lot of houses have today, and it's these keypad deadbolts. They're fairly inexpensive. You can add them to an older house. A lot of newer houses just come with these, and over time they fail. And it's really simple to repair these. It doesn't require any soldering or any kind of electronics knowledge. Basically, you just need to disassemble the unit and get to where the keypad interfaces with the circuit board and clean that part of the board up as it gets dirty from the contacts. Put it back together and it works like new. I've had mine for probably 15 years. I've had to take it apart twice and clean it when the buttons got where they were unresponsive. And again, this is a little different than my normal content, but I think this is going to be a DIY kind of a thing that a lot of people will be able to do themselves and avoid having to replace a door lock mechanism that's on their home. So let's fix this thing. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to remove the lock from your door, and this is the type of keypad lock we're talking about. So first thing you want to do is go on the inside of the door, and it's going to look like this, and it's got this locking lever here that's keyed to the lock mechanism. First thing you do is remove this top screw. Then you remove this bottom screw, and that piece just slides off. And here's this tang I was talking about that indexes into the slot on the back of the locking lever. When you put this back together, you need to make sure that this is indexed to the lever so it will slide back together. So next you want to take out this screw right here on the left. Then you take out this screw on the right. Then you're going to unplug the battery, and you disconnect this wire connection right here that goes from the inside of the lock to the keypad on the outside. And then you just grab a hold of the lock assembly and slide it out. And here are the wires that go to the inside, you just to make sure that they don't get hung up when they come through. And this whole assembly just comes out. So now that we got the lock assembly out of the door, we're going to remove this screw, that screw, this screw, and this screw. And these are Torx T15 screws. So let me get those out and I'll show you what the inside of this lock assembly looks like. And I did miss one screw. There's one here. So there's two in the middle, two on each end, 6 screws all together. And then this little piece here just comes down. And here's our lock assembly. And this is as far as we have to disassemble it. So the main thing that we want to be doing is we want to clean up all these little pads here. They get graphite or whatever material this is from these little push buttons, gets transferred onto here, and they don't get a connection. And while I'm at it, I clean these little black dot pads as well. And I just use some isopropyl alcohol and just do like this. Clean off each one of these little gold grids. And honestly, it doesn't take much to make these things not want to work right. You see there's just barely any on there. And then I come down here and clean each one of these little guys off. And we'll see how much goop comes off on them. Like I said, it doesn't take much to make one of these things not want to work but nice. You can see it's really not just a little tiny bit of dirt. And that's all there is to cleaning one of these. So then you take this piece here, which you can see that this thing is keyed to it. So you take this thing, and when you got it right, you can feel it turning, but nothing happens on this side. But it's flush like that. And then there's a little ring right here. I put that on there. So then we can take this whole middle piece here and put it just like that. And then you want to make sure that's flush. You want to make sure all these little push buttons are sticking through the hole like that. And then I do the ones on the ends first because they're a little harder to get screwed in. And don't make the mistake of taking this thing any further apart than that. If this doesn't fix it, you just need a new one. But I've cleaned mine, and every time I clean it, it works like new again. So that's probably all yours needs, is just cleaning off those little pads. And the way you know if this is what's wrong, it just gets really hard to push the button. Like you have to push it super hard to get it to recognize the button push, or if it's been getting that way and then finally that button just doesn't work anymore. And I suppose you could reprogram it to use the other buttons that still work, but then I'd have to remember a new door key, and people that come over to feed Dolly, my sweet dog, would have to know the new door code as well. And so I felt like just cleaning it's a good thing. So let me get this thing put back together, and we will report on if this was a success or not. Well, as you can see, it's not rocket science to fix one of these keyless deadbolt devices. And I know there's a lot of them out there that get like mine, where you really have to push hard to make the buttons work, or the buttons just quit working altogether. And this simple fix makes it work like new, and it does stay repaired for a long time until the same thing will happen 5 or 6 years later. It may end up getting to the point where the buttons don't want to respond easily, and now you know how to fix it. So hopefully you found this informative. And maybe this wasn't as step-to-step as some of y'all were expecting, but I feel like that most DIYers will get the gist of it when they see the video, and they'll be able to fix this thing. Again, it's pretty simple, no soldering required. It's not a heavy lift disassembling this thing. It doesn't have, at least my version didn't have any kind of weird tamper-proof screws or anything, so just regular household tools will fix it with some isopropyl alcohol. Get the 91% and up. You don't want to use that diluted stuff that they sometimes also have as an option at the drugstore. So make sure you get, I think it's 91% or higher alcohol for cleaning this, and some Q-tips and a screwdriver, and that's really all you need. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you found this useful, click the like button below. I'm not sure a lot of you guys are really going to be interested in my other content that's about vacuum tube audio gear, and that's fine. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did find this super useful and you're inclined to leave a tip, there's a donate link at my website below, and appreciate anything you want to leave if you found this of value to you. So anyway, until the next video, have a nice day.